Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our ASEAN Efficiency Week 2021. We are glad to have you here today to join us with these special sessions that we designed for the team. I'm Janice Bay. I'm the ASEAN Marketing Manager for GE Healthcare. Today, I have the honor to be the MC for the next 1 hour. In the year of 2020, GE Healthcare has been interacting with all of you through the virtual platform. We do it virtually to deliver a lot of educational and also clinical webinar, live demo, and also meeting. During the RSNA 2020, GE Healthcare also continued to leverage the digital platform and introduce up to 30 new products to the market virtually. In order to bring this new product highlights effectively to our ASEAN audience, we came about this ASEAN Efficiency Weeks RSNA highlights from this week, from February 2 to February 10, on which day each of our modality will bring you one key new product highlight, and we will share the benefits and also the clinical value to the audience. The webinar sessions will be conducted during the noon time, which is now. So we hope that this time will fit you better. Feel free to bring a lunch together and listen to the webinar. However, if you do miss the noon sessions, not to worry. The replay session will still be available during the day, every day at 7 to 8 p.m. during Singapore time. So do tune in and subscribe to our ASEAN Marketing YouTube channel. For more information, we would like to encourage you to scan this and visit to our gehealthcare.com/g efficiency page for more information. Today, we would like to bring you a topic around healthcare digital ecosystem. We would like to bring you our speaker, Mr. Peter Eggleston, our Product Marketing Director of GE Healthcare, who has the 25 years of experience in bringing innovations and AI-based products to the healthcare markets. At GE Healthcare, he is responsible for marketing strategy and enablement of the company radiology PAD system, visualization and AI solutions. He has also published over 40 papers and articles related to imaging and also artificial intelligence. Throughout the course of this webinar discussion, all audience, please do feel free to raise a question through the Q&A bar, which is showing on the screen up here. So followed by this session, our GM of ASEAN Enterprise Digital Solution, Mr. Kumar, will join us to answer a question at the Q&A bar. So feel free to join us for the sessions. So without further ado, let me welcome and hand over the floor to Mr. Peter Eggleston to share the topics on how to implement AI in imaging workflow, a platform approach to seamless integration.
How you can enable AI-based imaging workflows to enable deeper insights on your patients faster. In 1965, Gordon Moore saw a trend, and that trend was the speed and capability of our computers are doubling every couple of years, while at the same time costing less. And he introduced us to this concept of the exponential technology curve, coined Moore's laws, and that drove an exponential change in computing power for several decades. Driven by faster chips, this exponential technology innovation curve has made machines smart, fast, and affordable, leading to today's rise of machine learning. This has also influenced the way we perceive our technology future. 20 years ago, Ray Kurzweil explained, when people think of a future period, they intuitively assume that the current rate of progress will continue for future periods. In other words, it's human nature to adapt to the changing pace. So our intuition tells us that technology will continue to evolve at the present rate. So our tendency is to predict the future based on a linear view of the past, especially in regards to AI and radiology. And therein lays the trap for us in understanding and planning for our future. Let me explain. According to a recent report issued by Stanford University, computational power is accelerating at a much higher rate than the development of processor chips. And as a result, we are seeing that the performance of AI algorithms are far outpacing Moore's law. Prior to 2012, AI results closely tracked Moore's law, with compute power doubling every 2 years. Post 2012, compute power has been doubling every 3.5 months. And this impact on AI machine learning is astounding. In a span of just 18 months, the time required to train an image recognition neural network fell from 3 hours to 88 seconds, and all this with no compromise in accuracy. Therefore, to really understand the future correctly, and to understand how quickly AI will benefit the field of radiology, one needs to imagine things moving at a much faster rate than they're moving now. You need to understand your viewpoint relative to the velocity of technology change. Let me give you an example. Here you're looking down a track, and as you travel down this track and you look out, your rate of progress looks fairly constant, right? But not so fast. If you take a step back and look at your context, look at your travel in relation to the world around you, you see that the situation is actually quite dramatically different. And that's a perspective we need to appreciate to prepare ourselves and our radiologists for this near future, a future in which AI becomes pervasive in our imaging workflows. Because what we perceive as the far future is actually not quite so distant. If you think about the rate of AI adoption in healthcare, and your reference is the past, then you might think you're rather like our clinician here walking up a gentle slope of technology progress, when in fact the far future is coming much sooner than he realizes, because this is a more realistic viewpoint of where we're at now relative to the availability and utilization of AI in imaging. And let me show you why. AI is impacting radiology much more quickly than other fields. In this graph of published articles and papers on utilizing AI for diagnostic radiology and imaging, we can see this exponential trend quite clearly. It shows the number of publications dramatically increased over the past 10 years, from 150 10 years ago to over 800 a year today. And this is leading to an exponential growth of investment in medical imaging startups. In fact, investment in healthcare AI tops all other industries in deal activity. And the bottom line, all this development activity is resulting in a large number of AI-based imaging applications in the commercialization pipeline, and these will soon be flooding into the market. So this raises the question, how will you implement all this AI in your imaging workflows? And how will you do so in a way that's quick, easy, and scalable? And ask yourself this question, if an AI-based COVID detection algorithm were made available to you today, how would you quickly implement this in your imaging workflows? And perhaps more importantly, how quickly could you implement it? The answer will be most likely depend on whether or not your current PACS has a platform for rapidly and easily onboarding new clinical applications, and it changes the requirements to your current workflows. What's needed is a platform approach to seamless integration, an end-to-end approach to incorporate artificial intelligence in imaging workflows, from the point of scan to the radiologist diagnosis. And this is why the Edison team at GE Healthcare has created the Open AI Orchestrator. It utilizes a unique visual orchestration engine that provides a flexible, unified solution to allow organizations to quickly deploy, automate, and manage both non-AI and AI-based algorithms into your clinical imaging workflows. It provides a visual method to instrument and optimize imaging workflows, rules to manage the use of AI applications, and the ability to triage and prioritize exams to provide timely decision support. Let's see how it works. First, the exams from the imaging scanners are sent into the PACS. The Edison AI Orchestrator, an optional component to our Centricity PACS, watches the exams coming in and runs rules on them based on the DICOM header information, such as patient age, modality, body part, even the location from which the imaging is coming, such as the ED. It then executes one or more decision and routing workflow maps that are designed with a visual editor, matching relevant exams to the proper AI clinical apps, and routing these exams to the AI applications wherever they reside, on-premise or in the cloud. In this case, if a chest X-ray arrives from a patient 18 years or older from the ED, it's routed to the pneumothorax detection algorithm and given a high priority for processing. It then takes the AI results such as the pneumothorax probability score and any location references such as a heat map or image overlay and passes these back up into the PACS. From there, these results are made available to the radiologist at the right points in their imaging workflow, both in their work list, in the diagnostic hub, as well as in the viewer itself. What I'm showing here is our Centricity Workflow Manager, an intelligent work list that's provided with our diagnostic radiology PACS viewer. This is not currently available in the Asia regions, but what I'm demonstrating to you here will be very similar to how we support AI results integration in our radiology information solution, RISI. The AI results are presented at the appropriate places in the workflow so that they can be used to triage and prioritize the reading for an individual or for a group. Here for all or individual work lists, we see the total number of exams, the number of stat exams in red, and then on the right, if you can see it, the number that have critical AI findings associated with them. And these can be used then to sort the exam list, to triage this list so that the critical findings are at the top. And any exam that has a critical finding is flagged, and hovering over this flag can quickly display the results to the reader. The same holds true for any prior exams with critical findings in the imaging, patient imaging history. And finally, in our diagnostic hub, this is where the exam notes reside, for instance. The reader can not only see the exam notes as well as any other relevant EMR notes, they can also see a summary report provided by the AI algorithms on the exam. Now, the important things to note in this example are that we're not changing the radiologist reading workflow, we're enhancing it. All orchestrated AI algorithms share a common user experience. There's no additional interfaces to learn, and there's no head turns to another screen where the AI interfaces might be. And then finally, most importantly, we have not added any additional clicks to the radiologist workflow. Next, when a radiologist opens a case to read, the AI results can be automatically incorporated into the hanging protocols. And this allows AI results to be shown along with the current DICOM study, displayed as a secondary DICOM capture image or by using the DICOM structure report standard, CAD-SR. In this example, we're seeing the probability score of a pneumothorax finding along with a heat map overlay, showing the area of the lung in which it was detected. For instance, the user would have the same experience in reading the exam that was produced by, with our mobile X-ray unit running a GE Healthcare critical care suite, as well as being produced by the algorithm orchestrator. I'm going to say more on that in a minute. Finally, since the Edison AI Orchestrator is an open system, users can configure the work list to include code that can interact with other hospital systems, such as the paging or notification system. For instance, a rule can be written so that if a probability of finding score exceeds some confidence threshold, a text or email could be automatically sent to some member of the care team to alert them, such as in a case of a stroke or a brain bleed, it could be a neurologist attending could be notified. Now, many of GE Healthcare's imaging devices have options for AI-based clinical applications that run directly on the device or on an attached edge device, such as the Edison Edge, and these can often be subscribed to through our smart subscription process. In this case, the AI results are passed along with the imaging series directly to the PACS. We don't need the orchestrator in this case. And then these AI results can be used by the GE Healthcare work list and viewer to do the exam triage and view the AI results in the very same manner as I showed previously. Now let's take a look inside the AI Open Orchestrator. By way of a visual workflow editor, it explicitly documents the rules and routes for the exam data and AI processes, the required parameters of operation, and any subsequent actions they need to perform. It manages the interoperation with various imaging devices, data stores, and even other information technology systems. And in this simple workflow graph, you can see the decision points, processing elements, and other operations as color-coded shapes. And the bottom line is it makes the AI processing explicit. It's not embedded internally into it in a system where you can't see it. And it makes it understandable to the clinicians. And most importantly, provides an easy way to instrument and improve the workflows. Through its administration interface, one can easily see all the AI processes that are in the system and control their operation. You can even run multiple instances of the workflow to compare the impact of various parameter settings, such as confidence thresholds. It's a good way for organizations to start experimenting with AI in their workflows. Now, at this point, you might be asking yourself, where do these AI-based clinical applications come from? Well, they come from our Edison Open AI Orchestrator, and these are provided directly from GE as well as through a network of third-party providers. And they include applications that are regulatory approved in your region for our scanners and for our PACS that are certified for proper operation with our Edison Orchestrator platform. To assist our customers to spend less time finding, evaluating, purchasing these clinical applications, we've come up with a software marketplace. And visitors through this marketplace will be able to browse our software, see a list of their current GE healthcare devices and software, and be able to see what's available for these devices. They can see what software is compatible with the GE products they may already own, review pricing information tailored to them, and manage direct download of software trials, installations, and updates. And in the future, we may include AI and developer components from startups to accelerate your clinical innovation and research outcomes as well. All this adds up to what we call the Open PACS AI experience, as it allows our centricity PACS to incorporate and utilize AI results coming from a wide variety of sources. It can come directly from a scanner or an edge device connected to a scanner. It could be acquired from GE Healthcare or a wide variety of third-party AI vendors. It's orchestrated by a flexible and scalable workflow engine that's part of the PACS. And it's flowed into your radiologist's existing reading workflows through a uniform and seamless experience in both our RIS and PACS-driven worklist and universal viewer. The bottom line is this platform approach, enabled by a flexible and open orchestration engine, can facilitate seamless integration of AI-based clinical applications without requiring you to change your workflows. It allows easy onboarding of existing and new applications from multiple vendors, providing a rapid, robust scalability. It provides a uniform interface and user experience across multiple AI-based applications. And most importantly, it doesn't add any additional clicks for your radiologists. Now, there's no denying it. Healthcare today is changing at a very rapid pace. And in radiology, it's not enough to read faster, nor is it realistic. Therefore, today's environment is one in which AI is no longer an idea or the future, it's a requirement. And your organization may soon be able to choose from thousands of algorithms that can potentially detect concerning features and images from multiple modalities, all in seconds. And while this evolution may change the radiologist's traditional role, it also means they can spend less time performing manual tasks and more time interacting with the critical members of the care team and their patients. The introduction of AI brings with it a sharp realization that life as we know it is going to be forever changed. And the future belongs to those willing to transform. We hope you join GE Healthcare as a partner in your transformation. Now that concludes my presentation for today. Thank you for spending some time with us, and I look forward to answering any of the questions that you might have. Back.
All right, thank you, Peter, for the insightful sharing. So as we always see that this session is actually pre-recorded and Peter is actually sitting in the state. So we thank him for the time to really take this session recorded and then share it with our audience in here. So while we have the session finished, I would like to bring in our panelist, Mr. Kumar, to take on questions that we have from the floor. So far, do encourage to really share many of your concerns, any other question that you have. And then Kumar, who is currently now switch on, you can see him on the video to answer all the questions you may have. So feel free to ask. Hi, Kumar.
Yeah, hi, good morning, good afternoon. So this is Kumar. I'm based in Singapore. So GE has hopped on to this AI journey quite early comparing to our competition. Please feel free to ask me any questions that you have related to this subject. Thank you.
Hey, Kumar, I do see one question coming in from an anonymous audience. So the question is, can we onboard some AI application developed in-house by our radiologists doing research?
Absolutely. What we have done is we have developed with our CPACS background, we have developed the Open Orchestrator. Basically, what our orchestrator does is it will apply certain rules, and then when we receive images from the modality, it will apply some rules and then send it to the relevant AI algorithm to act on. And once there are findings, then the orchestrator will also send the feedback to the RIS and PACS in terms of any clinical indications or for prioritization purposes, or if there is a report that has been generated using structured report, we can send it back to the radiology information system or a reporting system. At the same time, the any annotations or findings through images we will be able to communicate as a DICOM structured secondary capture back to the PACS. So we, in the orchestrator, we do have certain like GE developed critical chest suite, and we have other third-party applications. So to your question, if any radiologist develop their in-house AI algorithms, we have a concept called light integration. Using that, we will be able to seamlessly integrate with your application that has been developed in-house by you. So basically, the orchestrator will communicate, will send in the images that are qualified for your in-house developed AI algorithm. And then once you send us the input, so we will use either APIs or HL7 integration and DICOM integration to consume those results back to your RIS-PACS. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I hope that we will know who is the audience that raised the question, but great one. Hope that if you think that you need to have a follow-up answer, do feel free to add on. Yeah, thanks, Kumar. Hey, we have another question coming in that how about, okay, pricing? Maybe we need to take it offline. Is that per case or by subscription or a packs?
Yeah, the pricing is, we have different levels of pricing. You could, basically, we have opened up around 44 catalogs as of today. Our goal is to reach 100 catalogs, meaning not only GE developed algorithms, we are also onboarding different third-party applications. Like I will name few for Lunit. Lunit is a Korean company who is very well known in the chest suite. And we have MaxQ, which detects stroke, reading CT images. And we have Kios, reading echo or memo images and providing output to the radiologists. So the pricing, we have two levels of pricing. One is we can, with our centricity packs and the orchestrator, we can define a set of pre-packaged, we can come out with 5 or 6 packages put together as a capex. At the same time, we can also, if the customer has their own, they can opt for from our AI, the ecosystem. We have a AI marketplace. If they select set of applications from third-party developers, we could also look at OpEx model, like per case basis. We could define the pricing. So we have both capex with the yearly subscription, or we can also hop onto OpEx based on the basic certain number of studies that will be sent to the algorithm inferencing table, and based on that we can also define the pricing. So we are not very rigid on that. We can work either way, whether capex followed by the subscription, or if customer only looking for certain package, then we could also look at OpEx by per case basis with the bundle.
Sure. Thank you, Kumar. So thanks to the audience that raised the pricing questions. So do feel free to really reach out to any one of us that I see Kumar here on the screen, right? If you need to have a follow-up, discussions, do drop up your contact. We will reach out to you personally for a follow-up discussion. Okay, I'm seeing a more question coming in. Get one coming from Petronino. So his question here to you is that, is the orchestrator vendor neutral, meaning that can it be used even if you are using a different brand of equipment for different modality?
Absolutely. Our packs and the Open Orchestrator is completely vendor neutral. We can support, of course, we love GE equipment. At the same time, since we are vendor neutral, we can get images from any other competitors' modality and process it using the same kind of rules. Based on these certain rules, it will basically route it to the corresponding or appropriate algorithm, and then we can get back the results into the packs. So we are in that way, we are completely vendor neutral.
Cool, thanks. So Metronino, I hope that answered your question. Again, like if you need to get a follow-up question, do feel free to reach out to any one of us.
Janice, I would like to expand a little bit on that.
Sure.
From the modality side, we are completely vendor neutral. But if you are using third-party packs, we can bundle our orchestrator with the basic packs from our side, and then the integration or output of the AI findings into the third-party packs, we need to develop the interface between the third-party packs and our orchestrator. So if the customer is looking for using a third-party packs, yes, we can still support, but the connector between our orchestrator and the third-party packs will be developed, and it will be based on basically GE will take up that integration as well.
Great. So I have a lot to offer. Okay, right. One more question I'm hearing from the chat box is, can that AI apply at any kind of pack system, and how is connectivity?
Yeah, I just so before this question, I just addressed. So with our open packs AI, it is Edison Orchestrator. Otherwise, is a headless engine basically, right? It works seamlessly with our GE risk packs in terms of processing and consumption of the output. However, the question is, how does it integrate the connectivity with the third-party packs? So we have to develop the connectivity or the interface with the third-party packs. That will be the GE will undertake that interface or connectivity based on the third-party risk packs, because it is not a very common interface. So we will have to work with the third-party PACS and then mutually agree what is the interface that we could use, whether it is a HL7 or a RESTful API, which is on the fly, we can communicate with each other, or is it like ASCII or any other proprietary interface that the third party risk PACS expects from us? So I hope that answers that third party PACS question.
Thank you, Kumar. Okay, I think that this digital thing is really like question actually flying in from different platforms. Although we're running on the Zoom, but I do say some other thing in the pre registration. So there's another guest actually asking from could you also elaborate more on what are the specific clinical benefits of AI algorithm for the imaging workflow that our markets like ASEAN could benefit from?
Yeah, very good question. There is a study that shows that the radiologists spend as little as 27% of their time working directly with the patients and on the diagnosis. The rest of the time they spend in front of a computer performing administrative tasks, right? So that is the reason why AI has been introduced into the market. Basically, there are three ways the AI orchestration and the AI algorithms and that can improve the healthcare providers work with more, improve their efficiency and quality of care with apps that that can be used. Basically, say for example, if somebody wants to working on a chest X-ray, so they have to do a lot of panning and zooming to find out what the whether the patient has the indication of pneumothorax, right? So these, so basically, as Peter explained in his video, and I will reiterate that. So having the AI algorithms or AI workflow help the radiologists in three ways, right? So they can just start their work list every day as usual, but they will be a typical radiologist will have a work list. They will go on reporting one after the other without knowing whether there are indications, whether there are patients who has more critical conditions, because they are not known today, right? They have a work list. If I'm a CT radiologist, I just get a short, basically go for a work list and then I start reporting one by one. But what AI engine and the workflow will bring to them is if there is any patient or the exam that has a clinical finding, it will immediately put it onto the work list, and in the work list the radiologist will be able to, radiologist is notified there is there is a critical clinical indication, then they can just, instead of going one by one, they can just first attend to this exam and they can diagnose and they can put the report first. So help to identify and prioritize the critical patient condition is number one benefit. Number two benefit is help the complex clinical decisions, right? The AI findings also will tell the radiologist by providing a structured report saying these are the critical conditions, and basically it will help the radiologist with the disease identification and quantification and tracking, right? The third one is it can, instead of radiologist typing, it can also help them by putting the structured report into this reporting window. So that means it is very fast and efficient for the radiologist. And the final one is, instead of the radiologist, whenever the radiologist is looking at his monitor, so along with the current image, the finding or the annotation from the algorithm is given to the radiologist, and so that they can compare with the primary image and the image with annotation highlighting the nodules or the pneumothorax or whatever clinical finding also captured into the radiologist workstation. And basically in the PACS, the display protocol can list can have the current exam displayed on the left and the finding from the AI on the right, so that they can compare, and then which basically improves their efficiency and give them a clinical confidence to put the findings in their reporting.
Thank you. Kuma, I have one very interesting question. It's really related. I think that it's more of the very holistic view, right? So the audience from our social media platform was asking that what is the impact to the radiographer and radiologists when they're reading all this like data that driven by the AI algorithm. So my understanding to this question is that the interpretation and impacts to the radiographers and radiologists.
Yeah, there is a general perception that bringing in machine learning, deep learning is going to cut cost by eliminating radiographer and radiologist, which is not true, right? So see, we have used radiographers and radiologists before, even when they were doing manual scanning and then print the film and hang it in the light box, right? That is why we call hanging protocol, even in the computer terminology. So it is the same radiographer and the same radiologist when the IT systems penetrated into the hospitals. We did not cut short radiographers and radiologists, aren't we? Similarly, it is the time. So now the radiologists are facing a lot of issues, like a lot of workload, so they need fast, because the workload keeps on increasing for them. They need decision-making tools, right? So AI is being introduced as a decision support system to improve the efficiency and the quality of care, basically to improve their turnaround time, to provide a faster reporting turnaround time and the better quality of reporting. So our as a healthcare provider, and we have been in the healthcare business in terms of both modality and also IT systems. We shared the same pain with our healthcare professionals, right? So we are in, not only we, even our competition, and there are around 800 startup companies. They are vigorously developing AI algorithms. They are all trying to help the radiographers and radiologists to do their job more efficiently and with clinical confidence. So that is that is my take, and I agree. I do think that others will agree with that approach.
Sure, I think that ultimately GE Healthcare, the goal is really to help the hospital and the radiological effort to improve the efficiency and work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I do have another two more questions which is related to the product itself. So I have one coming from the floor. What other AI application, okay, ultrasound in PACS except KOIOS kiosks?
Yeah. Yes. KIOS is the breast ultrasound AI application. It provides expert second opinion and clinically proven findings to reduce biopsies and increase both specificity and sensitivity on the breast imaging, basically. It detects it is basically associated with breast imaging, and it has been proven that it improves to basically diagnose for breast imaging. So the question is also, there are what other AI applications we are looking at currently, right? So like I mentioned before, we have chest, a critical chest suite, which detects pneumothorax, basically, which is, if it is not found, it will be quite life-threatening, right? And also, there are other applications like third-party applications. MaxQ is basically which is a CT brain application. It detects hemorrhage, stroke, or brain bleeding, right? Provides worklist prioritization and also gives prompts potential critical findings for the radiologist. And other applications also we have basically integrated with our PACS is River Rain, which basically works on CT chest and X-ray chest, so related to chest related images. And Lunate is another package which triage the use case for X-ray chest, like our critical chest, and it is also used for COVID identification, right? So there are others, like I said, we have 44 catalogs in our offering, very wide variety of applications across multiple modalities, basically. Cure AI is an India-based AI company which deals with CT head and X-ray chest. Also, they have around 18 clinical findings that can help radiologists with the diagnosis.
Sure. Thanks, Kumar.
Yeah, I have only named a few. There are quite a lot of big lists. We have around 44, and we are working on trying to increase it by 66 by Q3 this year. And our aim is to reach 100 catalogs by end of the year or by 2022.
Yeah, I do have a follow-up question that we just answered, asking that what are the options. So certainly, I think that customer here, audience here, really love to know more. How can we, the healthcare digital ecosystem can support the mammography as well as for ABAS overall. Okay.
Yeah.
So audience, I think that we will still continue to open the floor for a short while, so that I have perhaps like two last questions that I would like to maybe bring it to you here is, okay, this is for the institution. Audience was asking, there are already so many customer, right? I'm sure this is a customer that already using a system pack system in my hospital. Then how can we add the platform that you have just, Peter has just presented into integrate in the existing platform? Any extra cost, any extra work?
Yeah, I did answer this to related to this question. Yes, we do agree that you have already invested in modality and also you have a PACS. So if your PACS vendor is not supporting you on the AI workflow, we could provide you the additional server which will interact with your PACS, meaning the PACS, basically the workflow is like this. The pack, your current PACS receives all the images from your modality, and then definitely even whether with our PACS or your third-party PACS, we need to add the orchestrator, which is the engine that basically communicates with your PACS, and based on certain rules, it can query retrieve the images, or your PACS can auto route images into our orchestrator, and then we can provide, we can allocate then to your, basically you can select what kind of AI algorithms you want to use for your radiologists, and then we can route them to the appropriate algorithms, AI algorithms, and get the outputs, and then we can provide the for your PACS to consume, and then make it available for your radiologists while they are doing the report. As far as I know, there is no. I do understand your pain that you need additional investment to do that. Either your third-party PACS need to provide that, or you can engage GE to assist you to work with your third-party PACS to provide you this kind of a service.
Yeah, the audience also like mentioned here that the learning curve for them to really upgrade themselves from the existing platform to the new platform. So like you mentioned, right, GE Healthcare will be there to assist and support. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So Kuma, I think that we will be able to wrap up the session of the day. So thank you so much for really taking the time to answer the question, and especially to the audience that questions to share with us. So then, lastly, right, I do want to remind all the audience here, right, the efficiency weeks for ASEAN will be open until 10th of February. So on which day we do have different topics that sharing with customer in here. So once again, right, do not hesitate to scan this barcode. Like, let me project up here. Like, scan us and visit to our efficiency page to find out more sessions which line out until February 10. So the MRCT talking about cardiology, talking about oncology, as well as getting into the discussion around how do we handle to improve the workflow. So with that, I would like to once again thanks the audience as well as Kuma for the time to share the insight. Certainly, I will extend, to convey the message to Peter again, but to take this opportunity to frame for the ASEAN region. So thank you so much. We will hope to see you all again in next few days. Thank you, Kumar. Thank you all.
Thank you, Janice. Thanks for your time, and please do not hesitate to ping GE Healthcare if you need any help or any recommendation on this AI workflow journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you all.